morning, happy Monday. I just said to Tim, look at those idiots. Yeah, us. I mean.
She says, well, come on, let's go play. Like, okay, what do you want to go play? Let's play morning show. Okay.
Yes, we're going to play morning show. Hope you had an awesome weekend. Thank you to KC Security for sponsoring the show for us this morning.
They were here with you this morning.
Yes, Nathan came by. He always makes sure. It's kind of reassuring, actually, I have to say, when I turn the corner and come in and see our parking lot and the KC Security cars parked there. I kind of go, oh, good.
Oh, good.
Because I'm kind of scared of the dark.
Really?
I am.
When you were a kid, were you scared of the dark?
I was afraid of the dark.
Yeah.
And I never outgrew it, apparently.
Did you have a night light, or
yes.
did they leave the door open a crack, or which one did you choose?
Our doors were never closed.
Really?
Never. No, I didn't grow up with closed doors. Weird, huh? Because now my kids come home and they close their doors and I'm like, what are you doing? Because when they were little, I didn't close their doors because I didn't. My dad worked at the fire department at the mill in Espanola, and he said it's better for fire safety to keep the doors open.
Keep the doors open.
Especially when the kids are little, because you can go, hey, your hair's on fire, jump out the window. Yeah.
So, okay, well, no. But how many? See, we had 5. There were 5 kids, and the difference in 9 years in age, like oldest to youngest.
Right. Wow.
So you had to close your doors.
Well, there were
Otherwise
4.
You had little siblings running. There were 4 of you?
Yeah, there were 4 of us.
No, but okay. So I used to get scared of the shapes. I didn't I didn't have a closet. We lived in an old house, so my room didn't have a closet. I just had hooks on the back on a wall behind the door, so I would see shapes, and I would think it was things. And so I like the door open a crack.
You know what? I don't know how Jim does it. He beams up and downstairs in the pitch black. I don't know how he hasn't broken a toe. Seriously, that guy can just cruise around in the dark. It's crazy.
No, I'm bad like in the dark. I have terrible.
Me too. Yeah. I'm so horrible.
Driving at dusk.
Oh, forget it.
Hate it.
Yeah, can't do it.
We talked about that, I think, already.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, we did.
How was your weekend? Besides no sleep last night.
Okay.
Sorry, Keith.
Let's start with... Well, somebody got the bright idea of using the Roomba
which is smart.
In the bedroom, but he locked the dogs in the room with the Roomba. It's called a Roomba?
A Roomba.
Yeah. Dogs don't like Roombas. And we were watching a movie. I didn't know he closed the door with the dog. He's getting mad right now. I could just...
he's out there. Well, thanks for bringing that up.
So he puts the 3 dogs in the master bedroom with the Roomba while we're watching a movie. I fell asleep. I woke up and went downstairs, discovered 3 dogs locked in the bedroom with the Roomba. Well, Tippy had gotten upset and she peed on the bathroom floor, and I have an ensuite bathroom,
and the Roomba took it
everywhere. And there I am, 1:30 in the morning, half asleep. Bowser!
I love dogs.
Okay, so anyway, before Tasty, that thing that's
I love that thing.
It's like a website kind of
so addictive
phone app thing. I see it on Twitter all the time.
You can watch them do recipes.
So
I saw
a recipe, and it was for steak and potato tacos. You take a potato and you slice it, and you turn it, and you season it, and you put it into an upside down muffin tin.
Yes.
Okay, you put the potato in between the muffin tin bits so that it creates a taco shell. So you have a round potato sliced thin, and then you look.
That's the potato.
Yeah, because you put it in an upside down muffin tin, and you put the potato in between.
Oh, so you sort of slice it? No,
you slice it like on a regular slicer, and then you place it.
Oh, so that's it's like a chip. I know. I didn't realize, because I thought...
Don't play parlor games with Luann Young.
I'm brutal at it. But I thought you meant the whole potato.
No, you slice the potato on a mandolin.
So those are thin slices of potato with steak inside.
And you cook, and you season them, and you cook the potato for 25 minutes.
In the kamasabas, right.
In between, upside down muffin tin.
So smart.
Yeah, but it doesn't. No, it doesn't. No.
Oh.
And
you had a lousy weekend.
Listen, and the time it took to slice those potatoes, and then you soak them, and then you drain them, and then you salt them, and then you drain them, and then you season them, and then you place them. And I only have 1 upside down muffin tin, so I had to do it 4 times at 25 minutes a time. So there's 2 hours. Never mind.
You had fun, huh?
And I had to make my own pico de gallo, which, by the way, turned out great.
Did it?
Yes. And so you serve these little things, and they're only bite-sized because it's just a potato.
Well, it's a potato.
Well, it was 5 hours. And
were they good?
Well, no. We ended up just... The potatoes
sucked.
The potatoes weren't like a taco; they were like a sponge on the bottom. They never really
they didn't get crispy.
But at the end of it, by the end, we were just taking the steak and the cheese, and you sprinkle the cheese in the bottom, then put the skirt steak. Though, hello.
I hate skirt steak.
Well, it's flank steak is what I use.
Yeah,
which is even
I hate
nicer.
that.
Do this. You know how to cook it?
Yes, you do. Very quick on a
4 minutes
sear
on
it,
either side in a.
and then you cut it
What kind
against
of a
the
pan?
grain.
You got to use the
Cast iron.
That's right.
Yes.
And you cut it against the grain.
Yeah.
Ours was so tender and delicious.
There's all goober in there. The veins that
No,
go
that's
up,
not true. That's not veins. It's not
the
marble.
veins of fat.
She's such a. You're going to the wrong place.
Apparently. Apparently. I
Anyway,
am.
the steak and the cheese. By the end of it, we were just peeling the steak and the cheese out from the potato and eating that.
Oh, so the potatoes didn't work out.
I would just do it. Why would they put me through that? Why wouldn't you just say, get a taco shell?
They did it because they said to themselves, we're going to make Tim do this and we're going to make it miserable for him.
Thank goodness I didn't do it for guests and not try it out first.
You got to always try it out first.
And you know what I was thinking? Okay, this would be an appetizer for a party, but this would only be one dish. I'm not going to spend 5 hours making one dish to pass around.
Well, I wonder why you had to soak them so much.
What?
Like soak them in water and then
Because
salt
you want to
them
get all the starch off them.
Oh.
To get all the moisture out so that when you put them in that thing, they dry out more.
Oh.
Thanks for bringing it up.
Well, I would have used my mandolin, sliced away, like that's about 2 seconds, and then just put them in the water, forget the salting bath thing, take them out with a tea towel. You dry them off.
I want to talk about something else.
All right.
I want to talk about Johnny Depp's Johnny Depp, he's wacky.
He's a wackadoodle.
He's producing a Michael Jackson musical, starring the singer's glove. Okay, so listen, there's a playwright named Julian Nitzberg, and he wrote a thing called For the Love of a Glove.
Oh my
An
word.
unauthorized musical fable about the life of Michael Jackson as told by his glove. First of all, that's got two things in there, unauthorized and fable. So, okay, I can't believe the family's not going to sue for this one.
They're gonna.
The glove comes from outer space, and it is the reason that Michael Jackson had all the problems in his life. It's a fresh revisionist look at the strange forces that shaped Jackson and the scandals that bedeviled him. So, as told by the glove,
he had nothing to do with the scandals that bedeviled him?
I am thinking that glove has been some places none of us should ever want to see or go. So I don't know that I want to see a musical from the perspective of the glove.
That's a weird concept, no?
Well, that's a Johnny Depp thing.
Really? Like what? And then you have glitter everywhere.
For the love of a glove.
The love of a glove. That's an odd thing. Who's on the show today?
Oh, I have to introduce this first segment because we're once again talking about the 16 days of activism.
Oh, good.
To end gender-based violence and violence against women. This interview was done about a year ago with retired Lieutenant Mark Wynn. Mark's from Nashville, and he travels around talking about trauma-informed justice. So justice from the perspective of the victim and remembering that they've been through trauma, and he trains first responders.
Awesome.
Through conferences. Now this goes back to when Riley was still here. So our friend Riley Smith, who's since moved on, back then Riley was working as a field reporter and a news anchor, and it was really Riley's idea back then, this whole idea for the series. The series. And unfortunately, well, not unfortunately, Riley moved on in her career, and we never did get it finished. So this is sort of this is one of the things that we did together, and then I continued on without Riley, with her
Blessing.
Yes. Thanks for filling in the blanks.
No problem, blank.
It's Monday. I haven't had a coffee yet.
As if that makes a difference.
But watch the interview. It's very, very cool. Lieutenant Mark Wynn and Riley Smith. And we'll be back with more after that.
Year we've been celebrating our 65th anniversary, dating back to services originating in our community in 1954, which is quite some time ago. It's been a great opportunity this past year to recognize the pioneers, the stakeholders that worked tirelessly to create what we are today. I'm grateful for everything that the families 65 years ago and the people that assembled the organization have done in order for us to achieve the success that we're experiencing 65 years later.
your home, lighting is just as important as style.
With PowerView Motorization from Hunter Douglas, you can schedule your shades to light up the room, create privacy, or both, automatically. No hands required.
So your shades will always be in the right place at the right time in style. And it's only from Hunter Douglas.
So I'm here with retired Lieutenant Mark Wynn. And Mark, you have over 30 years of experience in this field, coming all the way from Nashville to help train our frontline workers. So how have you found the workshop so far? It's a 3-day workshop, and you're speaking today and tomorrow. Dr. Lori Haskell has spoken today. How are you feeling so far about the seminar?
Well, I told Dr. Haskell I thanked her for the therapy session because it wasn't just, what happens in your brain when you're traumatized by crime. She really sort of hypnotized the class today. So, and I needed that. Yeah. We all need a little therapy. But it's been really well done so far. I'm very excited you all asked me to come here. I know we've got a lot of crime in the States, and we're reshaping our approach in law enforcement and criminal justice overall to a more victim-centered, trauma-informed approach. And we're starting to see some real results from it because victims, they hesitate to call for a lot of reasons, right. And we can talk about that if you like.
Absolutely. So that kind of brings me to one of my key questions. I think a huge myth around sexual assault and sexual abuse is, well, why don't more women report? If they're telling the truth, and not just women, men as well, but why, if they're telling the truth, why aren't they reporting? Can you shed some light on why a victim would hesitate to report?
Well, let me give you just a couple of things. We have just constantly surveyed victims in the States since we really understood this crime in the early 80s. I think I started policing in 77, so I've seen the evolution of our policing. But we often don't even ask the victim, and I'll give a good example. I've got a good friend who's a deputy chief in Salem, Oregon, and sex crimes investigator for years, moved his way up to the chief. Once he got to that level, he asked his patrol officers. Last year, he said, when you go out on a domestic violence call, ask the victim an additional question: have you ever been forced to do something of a sexual nature against your will that you didn't want to do? Sort of a diplomatic way of saying, have you been raped? Right. 85% of the DV victims have acknowledged they were raped. Wow. Now, these were domestic violence assaults. And the reason he did it, a couple of things. He wanted his officers to see the interconnected, co-occurring nature of the crime, and just to see what the victims would say. And the advocates told him their numbers are 90 or 95% when they come into shelter or rape crisis centers, obviously. So he wanted to show the police that this wasn't just a simple assault. This was a much bigger issue.
And I think, and that kind of falls into this idea that we can't look at, a domestic or even a rape as an isolated incident, and that's something that I think Dr. Haskell touched on today. These things are connected with other traumas a lot of the time. So how do you help to train these frontline workers on dispelling some of those preconceived notions that they might have going into this case? How do you help to train them on sensitivity?
Wow. It was not easy. I mean, for law enforcement, in the States, we're about 1% of the population, so there's not a lot of people lining up to get law enforcement jobs. Right. So you want to try to start from the very beginning in their recruit school to show them the true nature of the crime, the impacts, what trauma looks like, And trauma is, to me, the product of the crime. If you understand the trauma, then it's easy for you to obviously ask the right kind of questions, like, well, something most people wouldn't even think about, state of mind questions like, well, what were you thinking when this was happening to you? I mean, years ago, we didn't ask those questions.
Right.
We didn't think it had any relevance to what we were doing, but now we're hearing, well, you asked me what I was thinking when he had his hands around my throat. I thought I was going to die.
Yeah.
That goes into your statement for your case, but it also shows the police officer, something they didn't see. I mean, often we don't see these crimes. We get there after it's over with, but we've seen the product of it, but we didn't understand what we were looking at in the past. So now today we're training police what that means. When you see that, when that child's non-spontaneous, they look away, they don't engage, or she's making excuses, she's actually lying about what happened or not talking to you at all, they're weighing out what they can, what they can't say to us, because victims have told us for years, to the police now, when bad things happen to him, worse things happen to me. So you got to look not only at the approach with the victim, you've got to also look at the negative and positive consequences of police intervention. I mean, the police put people in jail.
Right.
That's a big deal for someone living in a world of violence day in and day out. So you have to be sensitive to that. You can't be frustrated. This is not the quick fix. The guy got robbed at the ATM. That's a crime, but it's not the same.
Different spectrum.
It's a different thing going on here. That person's not in love with the robber. That's part of it too. You have to factor that into your case. And if you do, it'll make it easier for you as an investigator. You have to be a good listener. And we haven't done a good job of listening to victims historically. So that's part of what I'm going to talk about today, and that's part of what I've told cops for years and years and years.
Do you find generally that the police that you train, or even the other frontline workers that you train, are generally responsive to changing the way that they do things, or are they kind of set in their ways?
Well,
you probably get a mix.
I get a mix. I think what the difficult thing is for law enforcement, especially people who've done it for a while, they get set in their ways. They think, well, I've got this method, it works. I've got this sort of a way I do interviews, I do interrogations, and it works. But when you show them the recent studies that we've done in the States around why women don't report, like sex assault, and the bias in policing, and the bias in your reports that you don't even realize you're writing in the reports, and the way you interview the victim, it's sometimes a little difficult for them to say, you're asking me to change my entire philosophy, and then you have to come to a realization what you've been doing has been wrong. So you have to be not to blame them, because mostly cops worldwide, they do what they're trained to do.
Yeah.
You have to retrain them, and training's perishable. So you have to kind of get over that obstacle. And once you're over that obstacle, obviously then you can say, okay, now let's just start from square one. Let's talk about the next time you go out, the next time you talk to a woman who says she's been raped. Let's talk about, looking at it from a different point of view. The mistakes that we've made have been honest in a lot of ways. It's like you got to tell the victim, you got to do a rape kit, you've got to go to the hospital, you got to talk to the doctor, you got to talk to the prosecutor. So when you tell a rape victim that 45 minutes after the rape, most rape victims say, I'm not doing all that. Are you crazy? I just got raped. You're going to do it to me again, basically? Yeah. So we have to sort of refigure our philosophy and training and method around options. Victims who live in oppression don't need instruction, they need options. So if you give someone options, say, it's going to be your choice now. Right. Let's talk about your speed we'll work at. When you do that, people stay with your investigation longer, you're more likely to catch the suspect. So when I tell cops that, they go, I want that. Show me how to get that. Because most often the police experience has been, we did the initial report and she walked away, she never came back again, and they think, well, you know what, there'll be another victim coming along, and they will be, but the question should be, why did they walk away? Was it something that you did or something that we weren't teaching you to do that forced her to walk away from an investigation?
Now, you talked about retraining police, which is a lot of what you're doing even here today, right? You're retraining that from what they've learned initially. Do you think there will come a time when this is taught initially in their police training that there won't?
It's already started. So I'm sorry, I didn't interrupt you.
No,
it's already started. It makes no sense. Once you find something that you're doing something wrong, you got to fix it. I mean, there's no margin of error here. I mean, We know that these crimes often end in murder of a victim or a police officer. So once you realize you've got a flaw in the system that keeps that victim from justice, you got to fix it. The law's got to keep its promise, because if it doesn't, you need to get out of the way and let somebody else do your job.
So you think the system is modernizing in how it approaches victims in terms of sensitivity and unbiased reporting on sexual assault cases?
Well, it is not. It's not fast enough for me. You know, I've got sort of a long view of it. I mean, I've got years and years and years of trying to convince people, yes, this is a crime, you have to do it this way, and, you know, not getting a lot of traction, but the philosophy has to be, you know, gentle pressure relentlessly applied. You know, once you do that, you can get some change, and we're starting to see change. It's just not fast enough for me. You know, we've got, in the United States, we've got 1/2 untested rape kits sitting on shelves in property rooms and police departments nationwide. Why? And now they're studying why, and we're finding out that if it's old, you know, beliefs and stereotypes and biases about victims, and we're trying to correct it, and that's happening. I can tell you right now for Detroit, this is this recent documentary from Detroit. They had 10,000 untested kits, and all kind of reasons why they weren't tested. Now they're testing them. So far, they've caught 800 serial rapists. 800.
Wow.
Who committed crimes in 29 other states, United States. So, and it's great success, but there are police officers knocking on doors of women in Wayne County, Detroit, saying, "Oh, by the way, we caught your rapist from 13 years ago." And these women have moved on. They've got family. They've got another life. So, the question has to be for us: how'd that happen?
Yeah.
Who said that was okay? And when we've done that, we have looked into the way we've investigated these crimes in the past, and it's been wrong.
Right.
We weren't listening to advocates who were telling us they knew. Advocates knew from day one what we were doing wrong, and they tried to tell us. Of course, we said, you're not a cop, you don't know, you never investigated crime, don't tell me how to do my job. We didn't listen to them. Now we are.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like, you know, we've come a long way from where we started, but there's significant progress to be made, and I really do think that your talk today will help to push that process along forward. I want to thank you so much for coming all the way down and chatting with us, and I'm looking forward to hearing your talk.
All right,
thank you so much.
This is On TV. That's good.
It's a busy theater week. I talked about this last week. So Cats is opening, and there's an interview coming up after the news where I get turned into a cat.
I can't wait to see this.
And then also Mambo Italiano opens this week, so you can see a couple of shows. Mambo Italiano's at Sioux Theater Workshop. They open Wednesday, run Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, 8 p.m. and Sunday, 2 p.m. And we're giving away tickets. So it's a story about an Italian family and about how it's family love and dynamics, and it's a comedy. It's a really boisterous Italian family. Maria and Gino are the mother and father. And anyway, if you want to go and see it and win tickets, send me an email, timothy@superiormedia.ca, and just write the names of the mother and father's characters, Maria and Gino. You'll be entered in the draw. We're drawing tomorrow at noon. We'll announce the winner, and you can go and see the show this week. Mambo Italiano.
Isn't that awesome?
Yes!
Such a good idea. And you know what? I can just imagine how funny it's going to be.
Well, I guess it's like the kids have grown up, and there's grandchildren, and how the dynamics change with the family.
Exactly, for sure.
Yeah.
You know what?
No,
Tough guy, Simon Cowell.
Yes.
Whoa, he just broke. X Factor finale, I guess. They were talking to him about how he felt about this charity that was donating to his specific asks, a couple of different kids charities, and he has a son now and stuff.
Okay.
And so the host said to him, so, after they played the song and stuff, how do you feel about the fact that they're, and he started to talk, and he could not continue. He put his head down and he was sobbing.
Simon Cowell?
Simon Cowell. So Nicole Scherzinger was rubbing his arm, sitting beside him, and his girlfriend of years and years came right on stage and hugged him and felt like Simon Cowell is a softie. I love it.
That's not the same Simon Cowell that those girls. Who was it that left? It was Julianne Hough, and that other girl who left America's Got Talent, right? And one of the things was he smoked.
Oh, yes.
In the building, and they complained about it. And
Gabrielle Union.
That's the one. Yes, they were let go from the show, and they did not have. Well, Gabrielle Union didn't have nice things to say about Simon Cowell, but he has a heart apparently. Good for him.
Right on.
That's news to me, and you have news for us.
I do. Right after this.
Hi, it's Sarah again from Women in Crisis. Thank you to all of you who have been tuning in thus far for our 16 days of activism to end violence against women. This is a time to take action to end violence against women and girls around the world. We started out with 16 days, 16 women, and 16 bouquets of roses, and we're here today at the halfway point. All of us here at Women in Crisis, along with Superior Media, are continuing to shine the light on the incredible actions of individuals in our community who are working to end violence against women. The roses being presented are in memory of the 14 women who lost their lives on December 6, 1989, and in honor of all women who have died or endured gender-based violence. So follow us today as we present these roses to Ann O'Connor. And thank you so much for inviting us into your beautiful home. You have been nominated by a member of our community for your strength, your courage, your work and passion towards ending violence against women, and for your dedication to bringing change for future generations. Specifically, you have been nominated for your way of validating the importance of people's experiences and helping them work towards healing and living a life free from abuse. So thank you for being a light in this community.
Thank you very much, Sarah. Thank you. I'm really honored that you are giving this to me. I'm kind of excited, and I really appreciate that you are doing this work. I really appreciate knowing that going forward, there's going to be women like you doing it. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much, and thank you for your work. Anne is one of many who are working hard to end gender-based violence. Continue to follow us over the next few days as we highlight those who are shining the light in this community. Want to help? Visit womenincrisis.ca today, because ending violence against women starts with you.
Recently, the government of Ontario established a $100 million affordability fund to help Ontarians who don't qualify for low-income conservation programs ease the burden of their electricity bill. Whether you rent or own your home, as long as you pay your electric bill, you could qualify. There are 3 levels of support available. The first is a home energy kit with upgrades like smart power bars and LED light bulbs. The second includes Energy Star appliances that help keep things cool during the hot summer months. The third is for electrically heated homes so that your power bills don't break the bank during those long Canadian winters. Plus, all upgrades, including installation, are completely free of charge. Visit affordabilityfund.org or call 1-855-494-FUND to find out if you qualify.
Canada's premiers are meeting today just outside Toronto for the first time as a group since the federal election. The campaign laid bare some regional divisions, and the premiers of Saskatchewan and Alberta, where the Liberals won no seats, by the way, have been especially vocal about their asks from Ottawa. Saskatchewan Premier Scott Moe and Alberta Premier Jason Kenney want Prime Minister Justin Trudeau to change the equalization formula, but there is unlikely to be consensus on that around the Premier's table. Ontario Premier Doug Ford says healthcare is a concern for everyone and that all premiers want a 5.2% annual increase to the Canada Health Transfer. But there may not be consensus specifically on pharmacare, which will be a key discussion Ottawa will have with the provinces, with Ontario sounding lukewarm notes about it recently, pushing instead for better coverage for rare diseases. Climate policy will be another tough area to get all parties on side. Ontario, Saskatchewan, Alberta, and Manitoba have all launched legal challenges against the federal carbon price, while others have accepted it or launched their own programs. The premiers of Ontario, Saskatchewan, and New Brunswick met yesterday to sign a memorandum of understanding to collaborate on developing nuclear reactors known as small modular reactors. They say it could help meet emission reduction targets.
But they're making this out to be like the arrival of the apocalypse. This is ridiculous. This is, by modern Canadian fiscal standards, one of the most modest periods of fiscal restraint.
Alberta Premier Jason Kenney says critics of the United Conservative government's budget cuts need to tone down the rhetoric. He says Albertans would not take kindly to a general strike and is urging collaboration and cooperation.
I acknowledge and thank folks in the public service for the good work they do. I acknowledge that many have gone through a wage freeze, although it must be noted that in many of those professions they do get increases in their salary level with tenure, with seniority. But they need to realize that in many cases they receive better benefits and better relative compensation in the private sector, and that taxpayers cannot pay more. So I would say to those folks, let's sit down and work this out.
Yesterday afternoon at the GFL Memorial Gardens was another large test for the Hounds, who have not enjoyed much success to date. With a record of 10-15-1-0, the Sioux Greyhounds find themselves in the basement of the Western Conference. Their opponent, the London Knights, would be in the penthouse suite for comparison's sake. The game marked the first on the season between the two clubs. The Hounds would drop the contest 6-5 in overtime. The Thunderbirds entered their game Saturday night on a 3-game losing streak and took on the 5th-ranked team in the country, who was coming off a 9-3 win over the Sioux Eagles on Friday night. Second-year forward Avery Rebick would notch his 8th goal of the season into an empty net, as the Sioux would go on to defeat the Voodoos by a score of 4-2 at the Powassan Sportsplex. 10 people were shot and wounded early yesterday near the French Quarter in New Orleans, which is, of course, a popular spot for tourists. Hours later, in another part of town, another shooting killed 2 men and wounded 2 others. Police said both shootings remain under investigation, and authorities did not immediately draw any connection between them. 2 of the 10 people shot near the French Quarter were in critical condition in local hospitals. No arrests were announced by midday yesterday. Monday, and police did not immediately release information about any of the victims. Police officials told local media that a person of interest has been detained, but it was not immediately clear whether the person had any connection to the shooting.
The staff and volunteers of the Bush Plane Museum would like to welcome everybody down to the Bush Plane over the Christmas holidays, and would like to wish everyone a Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays.
Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays! From everyone here at East Street Pizza Company, Happy Holidays!
You're watching On TV.
In our last chat, in case you missed it, we were talking a little bit about Gabrielle Union because I was talking about Simon Cowell, and he broke down with emotion and was shocked.
She was fired from America's Got Talent as a judge.
And doesn't have a lot of nice things at this point, at least, to say about him.
There she is.
But, yeah, she's such a stunning girl. She's married to basketball player Dwayne Wade, and they have 2 kids. Mm-hmm. And for Thanksgiving, they took a family portrait. Mm-hmm. So their son looks to be about 10 years old, and their little girl is either 2 or 3 years old, in Dad's arm, and the son's between them, mm-hmm. and he's got his hand sitting on his dad's shoulder, and he's got long painted fingernails, and he's wearing a crop top. And the hatred that they got because of that picture.
Wow.
People just attacking that boy, and just unbelievable where people think that their opinion is valuable enough to share it to people that they don't even know. Like
this gender fluidity thing is really getting a lot of
just because you have an opinion doesn't mean that you get to share it. Nobody cares what you think. Like, seriously. So they apparently they posted another picture, and that one too, people just jumped all over it. So he ended up getting on social media. He was a little ticked off, the dad, Dwayne Wade.
Yes.
And he said, this is a quote, "As a parent, my goal is that my kids feel that I see them, love them, and support them." Done.
Ta-da.
Right?
There's also a viral video of a guy in a fairy costume dancing with his son, who's also in a dress, to Frozen, music from Frozen.
Is that
and
right?
People are freaking out saying, "Oh, we're sucking the testosterone out of our men these days."
my
It's like,
God.
come on. You know, I was just really surprised to find out Billy D. Williams. Now, Billy D. Williams of
so stunning
Star
looking.
Wars, right? He played Lando Calrissian. I remember him playing the love interest to Diana Ross in Mahogany.
He was
Lady
Rocky.
Sings the Blues.
Wasn't he in the Rocky movies?
I don't know if he was in Rocky, but he's coming back. He played Gale Sayers in Brian's Song.
Oh my gosh.
He was in Batman. So okay, Billy D. Williams, 82 years old. He uses himself and herself. He uses both male and female pronouns for himself because he sees himself as both feminine and masculine. He's an artist. He also makes his own clothing and stuff. And here he is,
Billy.
82 years old, saying, I use himself and herself because I feel both sides of my sexuality or my gender,
Good for
whatever.
him.
So
there you go.
82 and gender fluid. He's got no problem with it. Why do you?
Why do
Whose
any
business is it but
us?
yours? I am cat fluid in this next segment.
You're cat fluid.
Yes, I am.
What shall I call you?
Never mind, I'm not going to go there. Stop.
Good. Wow, you did it.
I
That's
stopped
good.
myself.
You almost went.
I was going to go a James Bond name, but I didn't do it. You know what I mean? Anyway,
Yes, I do.
I get dressed up as Bomb Ballerina. Actually, I'm wearing a female cat's outfit, but so it's a cat
I can't
interview,
wait
and
to
we'll
see
check
this.
it out after this.
That's good.
Recently, the Government of Ontario established a $100 million affordability fund to help Ontarians who don't qualify for low-income conservation programs ease the burden of their electricity bill. Whether you rent or own your home, as long as you pay your electric bill, you could qualify. There are 3 levels of support available. The first is a home energy kit with upgrades like smart power bars and LED light bulbs. The second includes Energy Star appliances that help keep things cool during the hot summer months. The third is for electrically heated homes so that your power bills don't break the bank during those long Canadian winters. Plus, all upgrades including installation are completely free of charge. Visit affordabilityfund.org or call 1-855-494-FUND to find out if you qualify.
I am on location at the Sioux Community Theater Center. You guys open next week with Cats. This is my friend Sky Stewart Smith. Hi, Sky.
Hi.
So, Sky, which character are you playing in the show?
I'm Bomb Ballerina.
Okay, Bomb Ballerina, as I recall, she sings the big solo McCavity. Well, it's a duet. You sing it with Demeter, right? Who's your partner in crime?
Yes, Emma Dingle, Demeter. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So, and how would you describe your character, Bomb Ballerina?
She is vivacious, sexy, very friendly, and very loyal to her cats.
It's pretty much you.
Yeah, well, thank you. I try to be sexy, I guess. I will try to not try because it's never sexy to try too hard.
That's true, it's not. Just has to exude from you.
Yes.
And you're dancing up a storm, I'm sure.
Yes, it's a lot of dancing. It's kicking my butt, and it's awesome. It's really fun. I'm keeping up, though.
Are you?
Yeah, with the young kids, it feels really, really good.
Well, you taught for a number of years, didn't you? Do you still teach?
I still teach. I teach at Northern Arts Academy, but acting and movement more than
More than
dance.
actual dance. Okay. Okay. And today you're going to help me get into character, right?
Yeah, I'm going to start with your base makeup. And
Okay.
Yeah.
So now, as far you can take your stuff there, and what do you have to do? Spritz me? You spritz me first?
Well,
okay.
I'm going to spritz. So our technique that we're doing for the show is spraying the sponge.
Where did you get this technique from?
From the makeup artists, the lovely makeup artists that are in the show, that are working on the show.
Oh, so you've got people who are assigned to do makeup, like the makeup head the department up?
Yes. Yeah.
And then how many? Do you know how many there are?
There are 2
Okay.
that were here the other night.
Okay.
They're amazing. Some of the cast are doing their own,
Okay.
depending on if they have experience, and some of them are getting help from other cast members or from the wonderful makeup team.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you can start on me. So basically, what I heard then was they came in and they showed people how to do their makeup, and those who were proficient, who showed a real affinity for being able to do it, they'll be responsible for doing their own makeup. Then there are others who maybe don't have the experience, and so they're going to allow either other cast members who are good, like you, and we're going to talk to some other cast members after, like Emma is going to be helping with makeup as well. They'll help. So you have both cast members doing their own, cast members doing other people, and then people from the makeup department helping as well. Right. Okay, that's the deal. Do you know where the plans came from? Like, I was stopped by the rehearsal space the other evening, and I saw on the wall all the pictures of the cats with the faces. Do you know where those came from, where they got the ideas for the makeup? Is that sort of a standard thing? Is Bomb Ballerinas makeup a standard makeup that all Bomb Ballerinas have in all the cast productions? Do you know?
Yes and no. So there's a standard of basically a fan page that lots of people love the show, right? It's like a cult classic. So.
I am one of those people.
Yes, me too. Yeah. So there's this fan page that has like a base of what to do. So Bomb Ballerina has a little bit of green just to accent her eyes, but she's a red ginger cat, right? She's a ginger cat, yeah. So I gotta cover your mouth.
I'm a ventriloquist, so I can do this without losing my lips. Doesn't that come in handy? So Sky, there are some cats that are really featured, like that do a lot of numbers. Those are the characters that a lot of us know, like I said, Mungo Jerry, Rumple Teaser, you, Demeter, Monkastrap. Now, very cool. Monkastrap. I've never seen a female Monkastrap. Janine Jefferson. Anybody who's gone to shows in Sault Ste. Marie knows Janine. I mean, she started as Peter Pan. She's what else? I mean, Mamma Mia, Joseph, the narrator for Joseph. I mean, Janine's done all kinds of shows.
She was Rizzo in Greece, one of the first shows that I saw her. So when I saw her, I was like fanning all of her. I've never worked with her before, and I was like, I saw you when I was little.
It's amazing that
Rizzo, and you were amazing, and made me want to do theater. Yeah.
And she and her twin sister Francine, amazing that they're both equal, like so talented. But anyway, so normally the role of Monkastrap is played by a male, and this time it's a female. That's going to be so cool. How do they work that? I mean, it's not gender specific really as far as anything that the character says, right?
She is amazing, and the role is very difficult. She has a lot of time on stage. She's like a narrator.
She's like the narrator.
And really, I mean, a woman absolutely can do it and should do it, I think. Because she's doing an amazing job.
I love that when you get to see shows where they don't actually stick to the standard casting and stuff. But then there are a number of other kittens and like other roles, like in the original production. I remember there were some roles that were strictly dance roles. You didn't really have to sing as much. So you have some people like etc. Are there other cats like little funny names like that we may not know about, right?
So there's kind of like a chorus cats. Yeah, and there's a lot of principals. This is a show of many, many talented people, and you need a really strong cast, and it's been really cool.
Okay.
There's a lot of.
I'm gonna let you finish my bass, and then we're gonna move on to Lauren Kinney. And Lauren plays Jenny. Any dots in the show?
Yep.
Okay, so we're gonna let Lauren take over after Sky has finished this. So you're gonna meet Lauren in just a sec. All right, now my face is being taken over. It's being hijacked by my other friend, Lauren Kinney. Hi, Lauren.
Hi, how are you?
I'm well, thank you. People might remember you as Belle in Beauty and the Beast. Yes. I worked with you in Little Shop of Horrors. What other? No, not Little. Best Little Horror House. Best Little Horror House in Texas. Sorry, I got my little houses mixed up. Okay, who are you in Cats?
I'm Jenny Annie Dots. So I'm basically the tap dancing cat.
The tap dancing cat who takes care of all the kittens, right?
Yeah, she's kind of motherly.
She's like a nanny.
A little bit, yeah.
What else is she?
Protective and yeah.
Is she kind of spacey?
I feel like she is definitely in her number. I've kind of taken her motherly role a little bit more to the protective side, and just she's really sweet. I've been really liking her.
You've been dancing forever. Since when?
Since I was 3.
Okay.
So a few years.
Where'd you start?
Way back with Shelley Peters.
Shelley.
Yes.
Then where?
That's where I started. I moved to Kiana, which is actually where I met Lucas.
Kim Greco, our old friend, yes.
Kim Greco.
From Sault Ste. Marie originally.
Yes. And then while I was there, actually, Christine Cloutier moved back to the Sioux and was our ballet mistress for a little while there. And then after she opened Sioux Dance, I moved there. So,
And you've been with Sioux Dance for a number of years.
20 some odd years, yeah.
That long, Lauren?
I know.
Holy smokes.
I know. I was just a baby when I started.
And what's interesting for this show, the audience might notice that the full stage is being used, the orchestra pit is not being used, because where's the orchestra?
They're actually behind stage, which is a little bit daunting.
It's tricky.
Yeah, because we don't get the cues from, you don't actually get the
Conductor in the pit?
conducting cues. Yeah, it's
Okay, are you ready to move? Am I ready for my next?
Yes, absolutely.
I'm ready for my next phase. Okay, thanks, Lauren, for doing my face and for being so fabulous. Okay, Emma Dingle's next. Okay, so now part 3 of my face. The fine lines.
Details, yes.
Details. Are you a detail person, Emma Dingle?
Yes, I am. I definitely am.
How did you learn how to do makeup, Emma? Because I know that you've been dancing and singing and performing, and your music is how I know you, music and dance.
Yeah.
Where'd the makeup thing come from?
I've always been really into art. So when I was a kid, I'd watch makeup videos, and I was really interested in it.
Really?
So then I just kept doing it, and it's become a hobby of mine. Yeah.
Okay, have you done makeup for other shows, for community theater?
I have not, but coming up, I'm doing makeup for Joe and Loretta's play.
Oh.
It's called If We Were Birds, and so...
If We Were Birds, so that's In Your Eyes project.
Yes.
I think it's called, or In Your Eyes Productions. Anyway, cool, you're doing makeup for that. Who do you play in the show? You can keep painting while I talk to you.
Okay.
Which character are you in the show?
So I play the role of Demeter.
Okay, so if my memory serves, do I have to stop talking? Tell me about Demeter. Paint and talk.
Okay. So Demeter is Bombalurina's partner in crime. I'm basically a sexy cat. So you see me and Bombalurina throughout the show together. Yeah.
And how you've been dancing how long?
Oh, since I was 3. Since I was little.
These people who start dancing at 3, you kill me. Which school do you dance? At which school do you dance?
I dance at Elite Dance Force.
Oh, the girls, Christina and
Caitlin.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I can never remember Caitlin's name. Okay, go on. Now, how many, you've been such a busy dancer, you haven't done a lot of community theater because your schedule never allows for it, but this is a fall show, so you're not do you still dance competitively?
Yes, I do. I took a year off because I hurt my back, but...
How is it now? Obviously, okay.
Yeah, I'm doing good. Thankfully.
So, the big number you do with Sky, as Bombalurina is?
McCavity.
So you sing all about that.
McCavity.
Okay, another question. Are there other people in the show who dance? Because we mentioned Sky danced. Where did you dance, Sky?
I was at Sherry Walsh.
She was at Sherry Walsh. You are with Elite Dance Force. We talked about Lauren being at Sioux Dance Unlimited. So there's still Studio Dance Arts. Anybody from Studio Dance Arts on the show?
Yeah, there's a few dancers. Mitchell is from Studio Dance.
Mitchell Hopf.
Yeah.
It's his first musical theater too.
Yeah, he's incredible. He's so good.
Who does he play?
Mr. Mistopheles.
The magical cat.
Yes.
Does he do the Russian splits?
Oh yeah, he does.
Does he do an aerial?
No, but he does some turns.
Does anybody do an aerial?
No.
I want to see an aerial. Turns in second I love too.
Yeah.
Lucas, do an aerial. When you were younger, you could do aerials, couldn't you, Lucas? Never could, eh? Okay. I can't do aerials.
Me neither.
I can't even do a two-handed cartwheel, can you?
Yeah, it's all right.
Okay, you have to finish my face now, and then you're gonna get me in costume and wig, right?
Yes.
Okay, and then I'm gonna meet Lucas, the director.
Yes, for sure.
Oh, there's me up. You guys, thank you so much for making me up. Oh my, I feel pretty. Lucas Beaver, this is the director. Congratulations, what a team you put together. You're having a good time with the show?
We are having a wonderful time.
Okay, this went a lot faster than I thought that it would. What's been the biggest challenge mounting this show?
I think the dance.
Yeah.
I think it's such a dance-heavy show, and obviously working with community theater, you always have people that have been dancing since 3.
Right.
You have great movers. You have people that don't dance.
Right.
And how do you blend that in a show that's primarily dance?
So
right?
how
and make it look interesting.
How'd
right?
you do it? Strengths-based?
Strengths-based.
Yeah.
You know, when people come out and do little sections, you know, it's usually with people that are dancing at the same level.
Yeah.
With them.
Good.
Yeah.
And these fabulous costumes and the wigs, some of them came from Toronto?
Most of the principals all the wigs came from Theatrics Costume House in Toronto, and about half of the costumes did, and the other half we pulled from the basement from the production.
Right. Could you put an estimate on how many hours have gone into this, man hours, when you combine people, because I don't think people understand who don't know what it takes to put a show together. I mean, you were talking about how many rehearsals, four rehearsals a week, how many hours, 3, 5 hours. Have you ever sat down and done the math, Lucas?
I haven't.
No.
I mean, generally when I come home to do a show, I'm here to do the show, so I don't have a daytime job. So I often work 5 to 6 days a week, trying not to bring in everybody else more than 3 or 4, right? So I can bring in, you know, Sky and Emma came in on a day that we weren't rehearsing the principals and stagger it that way. So I'm not cutting up the core rehearsal time from some of the bigger numbers.
Right. No, I can't wait to see it. It's one of my favorite shows. So tickets are available, as we say, at the box office, in the Station Mall, also online. They'll be at the door and at the door as well. Yes. Okay. And for those of you who don't think that, you know, there's no storyline. There is a storyline. Right? Yes. We love Cats, and if you haven't seen it, come in to see it. Support. I'm so glad you're home too. Lucas Beaver, can we tell them the news that you've really moved home for good?
I am in the process of moving home.
Yay! She's got lots of stuff in store. We'll talk about that later. But in the meantime, break a tail, break a paw. Sky, Lauren, Emma, Lucas, thanks for making me kitty pretty. I have to go use the litter box now. We'll be right back after this on Mornings with Luann and Tim. Oh, here we go.
Okay, well, this cat is going home to get in a treadmill. I can't believe I was told that was being shot from the rib cage up. I would have worn Spanx and proper undergarments. Me tucking myself there, putting on my cat outfit. I had to neuter myself to get in that outfit.
It's not the first time you've neutered
Honestly,
yourself.
I'm sorry you had to see that, people.
Oh, stop it.
Anyway, the show's going to be great. They're all going to be in the proper, they're going to look good.
They're awesome, too. What a great segment. That was so entertaining. Thank you so much for doing that. And thank you so much, KC Security, for sponsoring the show. And thank you for watching. Have an awesome day.